Hello everyone, welcome to Pass That Loud. And on today's episode, I will be talking about the secrets of the ALAAFIN, particularly the subject of Abobaku. In Yoruba language, the word Abobaku means he or she that dies with the king, or that is to die with the king. As we all know that the ALAAFIN is the paramount ruler and custodian of the Yoruba culture. In the ancient days of the Yoruba race, the kingmakers decided to find a way to protect him and his life during his reign. So by doing this, they decided to look for a way to make sure those he is vulnerable to and those who have the most access to him would not kill him or harm him in any way. So they thought of a very cunning way of doing this. They made a rule that whenever the ALAAFIN dies, those who are closest to him, some servants, some members of his royal family, are to be killed. Some by suicide, but those that are closest to him dies. They made this a rule of law because they knew these people that were closest to him could easily take his life or harm him. So whenever he dies, they have to die. By so doing, these people, these particular people that are closest to him will not want him to die, and they will do all they can to protect his life, because they know that once he dies, their life comes to an end. So this gave birth to the tradition of Abobaku in Yoruba land, particularly the Oyo Empire. Among the people who are to die or be killed when the ALAAFIN dies is a particular servant called Eleshioba. Eleshioba is an Ilari. Ilaris are servants in the palace. Eleshioba is an Ilari who is particularly infamous for holding the position of death. He enjoys while the king lives. He does everything, even has access to the king's private chambers. But whenever the ALAAFIN dies, the Abobaku dies with him. This has been a long tradition till the reign of Oba Shinyonbola, who ruled the Oyo Empire between 1911 to 1944. Of course, we know that this was during the colonial era. So it happened thus. When Oba Shinyonbola died in 1944, the Abobaku was supposed to be killed at a particular time after the king's death. They waited for 2 years, and when it was time in 1946 to kill the Abobaku, before the day the Abobaku will be killed, the British government they devised a plan to put a stop to what they call a cruel and inhuman tradition. What did they do? How did they do this? You see, about a day to the day the Abobaku should commit suicide or be killed, the British government planned to set him up. They set him up and lied against the then Abobaku that he stole a goat. Then he was imprisoned and sentenced to life imprisonment. This wasn't done to punish the man who was supposed to be killed. It was done to save his life and put an end to the tradition of Abobaku. Since the Abobaku wasn't available for murder or wasn't available to die because he was being held in the British prison, in the colonial prison. So there was no Abobaku to kill with the ALAAFIN that had just died. The people were clamoring and mumbling that why should the colonial government try to hinder the process of their tradition, of their long royal tradition. There was no answer to this. Time flew by, and there was no Abobaku killed. Then the people thought, okay, if truly the king died and the Abobaku still lives, then it means it's possible to put a stop, to put an end to the killing of these Abobakus. Because the belief was that if the tradition wasn't followed, there would be calamities and evil that would befall the kingdom and the entire Yoruba race. But when this Abobaku wasn't killed in 1946, nothing happened. There was no evil, there was no calamity, there was no war, there was no bloodshed, there was no plague or epidemic. So the people thought, okay, that means it's not necessary, it's not really significant or important to kill the innocent Abobakus. So they changed this rule from killing humans when the king dies to killing animals instead. The Abobaku of 1946 was replaced by a horse, and this put an end, a permanent end, to the tradition of Abobaku. On our next episode, we'll talk more on the secrets of the ALAAFIN. Pass that loud.